Just some days, man. Just some days. So I guess the last video I did was a pepper spray review. And in that one, I sprayed myself to show how effective the stuff was. And it was pretty good, pretty strong. And now in this video, I went and crashed my bike, so I get to show you my favorite bandage for road rash, which is Tegaderm by 3M. And of course now it's showing backwards because the selfie cam, and damn it. But what do you do? I'm doing this very impromptu because I got some stuff to take care of, and it's only going to be one take. So here we go. As I mentioned before, I'm a big time cyclist nowadays, bike a few thousand miles a year. It's probably my biggest hobby, aside from the workshop stuff I do. And yeah, today I was out on a ride, going on my weekend 50 miler, and a few miles from my house is some construction where the road is an absolute mess. And some of the work they did left a nice big old crack in the road that was the perfect size to eat a bike wheel. And I was doing 25 miles an hour, so I got some pretty good road rash on me right now. Oh man. Now the stuff I want to show you is going to be more minor. I got some minor scrapes in my forearm here, and then some serious stuff in my thigh. But just want to be forewarned, there will be a little bit of blood, nothing too bad. But if you are very squeamish, you might want to skip this one. But I do want to get the info out there just because this stuff really is fantastic. You know, I've crashed more times than I care to admit, both on my bicycle and then also back in the day on a motorcycle. I've been hitting the deck on two wheels for a long time now, and yes, I still don't learn. I'm a glutton for punishment. Oh yeah, but anyway, so what we're working with is this little scrape here on the forearm, right? Not that bad, very fresh because this happened, I don't know, just a half hour ago. I got a ride home really quick because I wasn't far away from my house, and yeah, now we're going to take care of this. I guess just for, I don't know, for some frame of reference, what I'm working with on the thigh, as you see here on the shorts, basically right from the hip down to where it's torn is where I hit and skid. And this whole area is nice and red. And then right down in here, I got some kind of freckles. In fact, I can feel that getting damp now from the blood. Awesome, even better. I got to take care of this. Great. So that will take a while to heal. But the forearm, that shouldn't be very bad at all. So quick rundown of how this goes, and I'll see what of this I can get on camera, just for, again, general information. And to be clear, this is just for informational entertainment purposes only, not official medical advice, etc., etc., etc. If you have any serious injuries or infections, whatever, call your doctor. 911 is applicable, all that crap. I'm just giving you my experience, from being the klutzy bumblefuck that I am. So, basically, I guess I should show you what this stuff is first. So Tegaderm is what's known as a hydrocolloidal bandage. That's a generic name for it, though I don't know of any other brands that make it apart from 3M and Tegaderm. But basically, it's a medical grade saran wrap. So stuff peels off and just sticks to the wound and basically acts like an artificial scab to keep it from scabbing over and from scarring. So I have a number of scars that I could have avoided had I known about this stuff, and every time I've had the chance to use this stuff, it has worked fantastic and kept it from scarring. I've got like a little minor one here on my forearm, you might be able to see, right in the middle. You probably won't focus, but anyway, I got a minor one there from when I got hit by a cyclist who was texting. I was on the bike path, motherfucker ran into me, and I caught his pedal in my arm hard. And that one, that had a little scar still, but I mean, that's how badly it had to go, getting like gouged up by someone's pedal. To actually leave a mark. And any other minor road rash, this has done a fantastic job. So basically what we gotta do is prep this so I can get to the point of using this, because this is more like a day 3 onto when it gets healed stuff. And for days 1 and 2, we've got this stuff here, nonstick dressing, right? Don't use gauze. Gauze is the worst. Gauze is the absolute fucking worst, because gauze will just stick to the wound and just pull up with all the fresh skin that's forming the moment you swap it out, and that's just no fun. Whereas these non-stick pads, they got a shiny side that is very good at not adhering to the wound, and then the other side just faces up, and you can wrap around that with some of this, what's this called? Self-amalgamating tape, and this stuff is the shit. This is the stretchy stuff you get when you donate blood, right? You've seen this before, and see how that has a give out. You can't see black on black. There we go, stretchy, and it sticks to itself. So basically, for the first 2 days, you want to use these to help absorb the exudate that comes out of the wound. It's like the yellow kind of I don't know, it's whatever it puts out in its healing. Some sort of like, not exactly pus, but it's, yeah. As it drips and stuff, you want to absorb that. People usually use gauze for that, but again, gauze, in my experience, is just no fun at all, and it just hurts like a bitch to rip off and just leaves you back at square one. So nonstick pads do a much better job. A little bit of Neosporin on top of that also does a great job. Keeps it from drying out, because when it dries out, it'll, you know, scab up better, like scab up earlier, and then it will scar. And we want to let it heal nice and slow and moist, so it can, you know, go through all that without leaving the marks. So again, I found this stuff for days 1 and 2, and then once it stops dripping quite as much, that's when you can go to the Tegaderm, right? So this stuff will just cling to the wound, you know, again, like medical grade saran wrap, and you leave it there for, I don't know, 5 to 7 days. It can stay on for a long time, until it begins to peel up. And then you take it off, you put a new layer on, you do it again for another week or so, and maybe you do it a third time, depending on how long it takes. And by the end of that, then your skin should be healed, never scabbed over, and yeah, then you're pretty much good to go. I guess some other notes about working this stuff is you do need to make sure you take the hair off of the area first. That is one reason why cyclists do have to shave the legs. Personally, I don't, so I got to shave now, which is what beard trimmer for. So take the hair off. That way the hair doesn't grow into the wound, because that's no fun, and it also doesn't leave a escape path from underneath the Tegaderm. You want the stuff to stick right to the skin, so that way any exudate that forms can form a little pocket in there and not go oozing out, and then also it keeps bacteria from getting in, right? So don't leave it open and exposed air. Don't dry it out. You want to keep it moist. You want to keep it covered. This is a decent enough cover with some Neosporin for the first day or two, and then this is the stuff you want to use long term. Let me see. I don't know what of this can actually get in video. I need 2 hands to take care of the shaving and everything. I'm going to hop in the shower and wash the stuff off. I guess maybe I'll come back and show you once the stuff is on, and you can see just again how great this stuff is. And we're back. Fun. So I've got this all shaved up, showered off, and ready to bandage. One pro tip for you when you're getting the hair out of your wound is you can get a needle like this one here. You probably can barely even see, and you sterilize this as rubbing alcohol, and you can run it along the skin and get it underneath the hair that's matted down in the wound, and then just boop and kind of pry it up out of there to get it raised up, and that way you can come by with the buzzers and trim that off. I wouldn't use a shaving razor to do that. Shaving's all fine and good if you do it before you have the accident, but afterwards, then you've got the shaving foam and stuff, and I just would not want that anywhere near a wound. Soap, sure, clean it out that way, but shaving foam, most certainly not. So you do that, and you also want to pick the little bits of rocks and shit out of your skin, because of course I got asphalt all up in here. Luckily, I didn't have any of that in the thigh, just because the shorts didn't tear through that badly. But there was plenty of little bits in the forearm, and some tweezers will do a job at that. Let's see. You might have also noticed I give myself a good 1.5 inches or so shaved all the way around, and that way it just doesn't. Again, it makes the Tegaderm stick better when you get to that stage, just because you don't have. The hair is kind of getting up underneath there and giving it a place for the bandage to begin prying up and for the bacteria to get in, because you don't want that. Now, again, for this guy, we're going to do the nonstick pad first. I got these cured ones. I've only got them in 3x4 because it'd be best if you have the right size for the wound, but I'm only going to stock them in one size because I bought this stuff in bulk. So for my thigh, I had to use 2 of them side by side, and I taped them together before putting on the amalgamating tape. For this little forearm one, I've actually got a half bandage just sitting in the box, and I'm going to use that just because I have it laying around. Now, granted, because the thing here is already opened, it's not sterile, and same with the Tegaderm, since it comes on a roll. This is it's not sterile, but it is clean. And my understanding is, unless you're immunocompromised, sterile and clean, for all intents and purposes, are pretty much just as good. Sterile obviously is better, but the risking an infection from something that is already clean and in a package when you're a healthy individual, very small, and I'm fine with that. So we got this guy here. You can maybe see both sides are pretty shiny, but one is a little bit shinier than the other, and that's the one I find rests better and pulls up better when you take it off later. So you got this, got the Neosporin. I'm going to put a thin coat of this on, which side is it? On this side here. Almost like, let's see, how can I get this on camera? Yeah. YOLO, just do what I can. Kind of put this thin layer on here, almost like lithium grease. It helps it stick to the skin while you're getting the rest of the bandage on. You know, if you ever put balls back into a loose bearing set, you know what I'm talking about, right? And then, see, like that. I'm gonna need both hands for that. 1 sec. And then after that's stuck on, we're gonna wrap the amalgamating tape around and BRB. And there we go, all covered up. Turns out I did need a whole nonstick pad, a whole 3x4 one, because I had grossly underestimated the size of that scrape. But that's okay, I got plenty of them. So put one of them on there with the Neosporin, and then gave it 4 wraps in the self-amalgamating tape. And I tell you, this stuff is just magic. It is weird, because like it does not stick to your skin, as you can see, right? Doesn't stick to your hair, doesn't stick to your wound. It only sticks to itself. It's non, like, I don't, somehow it sticks, but it doesn't feel like adhesive. There's no feelable glue on here, no residue left behind. It's kind of like Velcro, but it doesn't feel like Velcro either. It just feels like cloth. I don't get it, mind blown, okay? The only downside to it is you do need to wrap it all the way around, right, for it to stick back to itself. So here that's fine, it's just on your forearm. On the thigh, where it's all bloodied up, because it's right up near the ass, I had to like go all the way around the upper thigh like 4 times and basically use the whole roll of tape in doing that. But again, totally worth it because it works so well. But when it comes to other parts, you might not be able to do that. Like on your shoulder somewhere, I'm not sure how you could wrap around like there, but you can figure it out. If you have the option to use this, definitely use this stuff. Another good thing about it too is because it is like fabric-y, you can even shower with this stuff on and it holds up just fine. Doesn't wash off, just keeps trucking. You wouldn't shower with the nonstick pads on because these are meant to be absorptive and pull the exudate from your wounds. So the water from a shower obviously wouldn't be good. But by the time you put the Tegaderm on, this stuff stays on for a week at a time. So of course you're not gonna go a whole week without showering or working out, right? So it's nice that both the tape here and the Tegaderm will stay intact for, you know, even when they get wet. The Tegaderm also does stick on its own, but backing it up with the this amalgamating tape just helps keep it from peeling up, you know, early at all. With the injuries down here, now that they're all cleaned up, I can actually see there's like 2 separate injuries. The one big scrape that was like, you know, 6x4, and then there's a second patch that's really just more very light road rash, kind of like freckles. So that is actually ready for the Tegaderm today. I'm going to apply that now. Even though it could probably just heal up fine on its own without any sort of bandage whatsoever, this will help just keep it from scarring, you know, in any light way. And I'd prefer to keep that from happening if I can, right? So I can show you that now. It will be a little bit risque, so just, you know, letting you know. You should probably put this stuff on OnlyFans rather than YouTube, but whatever. You can see it right up in here. It's got a nice amount of rash to it, but it's not all torn up. Whereas here, that's all torn up. So I've measured off the Tegaderm, and it does have you know, centimeter measurements there to help you out too. And kind of like held it up, measured it, and then just kind of cut to fit. And I went and tapered the edges, and that way it'll just help keep it from peeling up. Right, this stuff will stick on its own, but the better the chance you give it to you know, not ever get any corner peeled up at all, the longer it'll stay in place on its own. Now I do need both hands to put the stuff on, so I will get a tripod, I guess, and keep on shooting. So we're going to start off peeling the white backing off of it, okay? Just like this. And I want to let you know that once the main bandage is exposed, if it sticks to itself at all, the whole thing is totally fucked, okay? It will stick to itself and then become, just like saran wrap, absolutely worthless. So do watch out, because the stuff you buy in a roll does have a bit of a curve to it and will want to peel and stick to itself very, very easily. Okay, now I take that side we just exposed, and that is, oh shit, that is the bandage. So I'm gonna get the wound area and then just lay this over. Good. Flatten it down. Okay. Push out to every corner. And then we take these scallops here, and then we peel off the front side, which has a second layer of plastic. And that will leave just the one thin layer. You can barely even see, ah crap, I placed that a little bit off. It does cover all the way, but that's what you get doing it for YouTube. Damn it. But that just barely covers on both sides, but it could have been a bit more centered. But yeah, and that will stay in place just fine on its own. I could put some more of that amalgamating tape on here, but since this only needs to be on for, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 days for this level of rash, I think I'll just leave it as it is. If you're concerned about the curvature on the roll messing you up, you do have the option of buying it in individual square bandages instead. So they come in a box just like the pads do. They're all sterile and separately wrapped. They're fixed size, and because they're nice and flat, you can lay them on just like that. Boom, easy. The downside is because they're a fixed size, you can't just go 6, 8, 10, 12 inches, whatever you need for your scrape, the way you can at the roll. You can kind of go like 1, 2, 3 bandages and overlap them a little bit because the way they stick to the skin and stick to each other as well, but you might get some leakage around the seams, and it's not ideal. The roll works a lot better. Now, as for the way they do stick, you saw in the prior clip, I don't get it. It's just like the amalgamating tape. It is weird voodoo black magic. I have no idea how it works. It's not a glue. It's not adhesive. It's not like a residue thing like a Band-Aid is. It just sticks to the skin and the wound really nicely, and it comes time to pull it up, it will just peel right off, nice and smooth without pulling anything up at all. Doesn't hurt at all. It's very weird and very awesome, and it's also why I friggin' love this shit. It is amazing. Yeah, just both that and the amalgamating tape, very easy, bandages to take off, and just makes the experience much, much nicer. As for other stuff, you will get some buildup of fluid as the wound heals, right? That exudate coming out, it's like a light yellowish fluid. It will build up and keep the wound moist. That's totally fine, totally cool, helps the healing. That's all good. If you see any like white pus forming or like inflammation and redness and soreness and tenderness around the wound, that's probably an infection. You should talk to your doctor. But a little bit of buildup, totally fine, because this stuff is a moisture barrier. At the same time, if you work out really hard and get really sweaty, because it's a moisture barrier, the sweat will build up underneath the Tegaderm too, and then you need to swap it out because, that's just gross. So be aware of that. If you do work out, that's totally fine, but just keep it, pretty easy, or be ready to swap the bandage out, after every hard workout. Well, it's been a full 2 months since the accident, and I'm finally getting around to editing and publishing this thing. I got too many irons in the fire, shit takes forever, but I'm getting it done. And while I was editing, I had the idea of shooting some extra footage to show you how well stuff would heal up, because overall, it turned out very nicely. The forearm took about 2 weeks, as I expected. Lower thigh is about a week and a half, so a little bit slower than I thought. And then the upper thigh, that went much, much slower. In fact, it is still healing. It's at like 95% now, but still is not quite all the way there. It's been much slower than any road rash I've had before, but on the other hand, is also much worse than any road rash I had before. And with 2 months of healing, you can kind of extrapolate how bad that must have been and why I did not want to show it on camera earlier. But at least it's good enough now I can show you how far it's healed, and you can see that overall it is fantastic. In fact, the only spot where I have any scarring whatsoever from this is right here in my forearm. If you can see that one little kind of darker spot. And that is all the hyperpigmentation. So not very much at all. And really that was probably my fault because I wasn't as careful with keeping it covered as I should have been. One thing I don't think I mentioned earlier is that UV light has a big impact on hyperpigmentation in your scars. So you do really want to keep it covered. The amalgamating tape works for that too. And another thing I didn't show are these elastic runner sleeves. It's like arm warmers. You can get these for maybe $5 a pair, just lightweight ones. And they do a great job at keeping the Tegaderm in place and keeping it covered so it doesn't get any sunlight on it. And then also, tangential benefit, keeping it covered because Tegaderm is a clear bandage, and showing that around is, kind of gross. Yeah. So just to be polite to other people, it's also good to keep this thing covered, And with the forearm there, it was still a little bit pink when I stopped wearing the Tegaderm and stopped wearing the arm sleeve. So had I gone for another, 3 to 7 days, just another half week or a full week, that probably would have been all it needed. But, that's not bad. And given 6 more months, it might just kind of blend out anyway and heal up the color of all the surrounding skin. But overall, really can't complain. And then down here on the thigh, if I can get that, lower thigh, 100% fine. Absolutely no visible damage whatsoever. And the upper thigh now, if I can show this in camera without flashing ass, that is all that is left. I can get that maybe in the light better. Sorry, I'm trying to orient the gimbal. There we go. So you can see there's, not much. It's only like yay big now, when before it was like 4x6 of nasty stuff, and it kind of feathered out from there. So it is significantly better, significantly shrunk, and all this area that was scraped up, it looks like just regular old skin now. In fact, this is healing so slowly. You can see there's still some spots where there was exudate coming out, even just, you know, earlier this week. And that's kind of dried up here underneath the Tegaderm and kind of gotten all nice and gross, you know, just really lovely. But it is still healing. It does still work, you know, and I really can't complain with the results from here, you know. It does also help that this whole area is usually covered, right? So it doesn't get any sunlight because it's, you know, usually covered by pants. Even during the work from home Corona era, I put on pants most days. More days than not, I wear pants. So it keeps it covered, and you know, that way you don't have any hyperpigmentation down here. And you can see too that this bandage is kind of peeling up a little bit now because I've had it on for, you know, about a week. And I can show you just how easily this thing does peel off, because I don't think I showed that in any other earlier clip. So you just grab it from a corner, and there you go. I can put on a fresh layer tonight and throw this one out because it has all that nasty goo in there. Ugh, gross. But yeah, maybe another 1 or 2, and then all that little remaining pink and whatever will heal up, and I will be 100% good to go. So I think that is a wrap. You definitely do want to have this stuff on hand because it is great for when you crash. And honestly, with cycling, there are 2 types of cyclists. You know, there are those who have crashed and those who are going to crash. So just be prepared. You know, ride safe, and if you do take a fall, you know, heal up and get back on the saddle. Peace.